are back here at the Mount View Hotel, which is serving as the wine pavilion here in Calistoga for the Napa Valley Film Festival Day 2. CellarPass Taste Live broadcasting. And we have Mr. Chris O'Gorman here from Merryvale Vineyards.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How are we doing?
Great. It's good to be here.
Yeah, have you checked out any of the film festival yet?
I haven't yet, but you know, lovely sunny day in the Napa Valley, and just happy to be here.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah.
There we go. So we're going to be drinking a little Merryvale 2007 Cabernet Sauvignon. I was just looking over the tech sheet for this, and there's 1% Cabernet Franc in this wine.
That's right. Sometimes just that 1% that just gives it that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, it was missing a little something.
That's right. And that 1% is from Tocolone, little perfume, just beautiful little perfumey bit of flowers. So it's lovely.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about Merryvale.
Sure. Family-owned winery dating back to 1983. We're in a historic building dating back to 1933. So actually the very first winery built in the Napa Valley after the repeal of Prohibition. We're family-owned. We do about 12,000 cases of these wines, for between 200 cases and 2,000 per wine. This one's just a little more than that. It's our biggest production. And we do Napa Cab, Chardonnay, and lots of other great stuff.
And where are the grapes coming for this wine?
Mostly from our estate vineyard, about 1,000 feet above the town of St. Helena on a ridge, kind of west-southwest facing. It's farmed by David Abreu. It's called our Merryvale St. Helena Estate Vineyard. And then there's a couple other blocks brought in, including Stagecoach, which is a famous winery in the Napa Valley, Broken Rock, and then there's that little 1% of Tocolone.
Wonderful. And we have some bloggers joining us today. Big shout out to Bean and Dennis and Thea and all the other bloggers that are tuning in.
Hello,
and they're
bloggers.
going to be They're going to be tasting the wine with us. But what thoughts can you offer when tasting this wine?
Sure. It's a 2007 Napa Cab. It was a great year in the Napa Valley. A lot of winemakers talk about how it was kind of hard to make a bad wine in 2007. It was a long, slow, cool season with some warm weather in September. It allowed extended hang time and ripening, and just was perfect growing conditions, and that's reflected here in the bottle. Smells like deep, rich cassis, blackberry, little cedar, some toasty oak notes, and it just kind of smells like a big, rich Napa Cab.
And what's your approach to when you would suggest drinking this wine?
Well, the bottle we're drinking actually decanted an hour ago, which
Okay.
I recommend with young Napa Cabs and actually young cabs in general. It's tasting great right now. I do recommend a decant. It's also a wine that will last 10, 15 years and beyond, particularly if you like the aged character of aged wines.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And we kind of already touched on this, but the bloggers are curious too. The 1% Cab Franc.
Yeah.
What does it add?
Yeah. Again, Cabernet Franc is one of the classic Bordeaux varietals, and it tends to be very, very perfumey. If it's unripe, it can be very herbaceous, but when you get it a little riper, it has great structure. It marries very, very well with Cabernet Sauvignon. We just loved the way it kind of made the wine pop, and 1% can do a lot to a wine, and we think it does in this wine.
So Cabernet Sauvignon is the flagship wine of Napa Valley, and
Yep.
there's a lot of people producing it here. How is this wine unique? What are some of the things you do on the production side, on the vineyard side, that make this wine stand out?
Sure. It's grown up, in the hills above St. Helena, so it's a hillside cab. It's farmed by David Abreu, who's kind of a big-time viticulturalist here in the Napa Valley. Does a lot of the cult wines. He gives us just beautiful fruit. We bring it in, we pick it in the early morning, and it comes down into a cold room. We process it. It gets sorted about 5 times after it's destemmed. There's a whole sorting line. Then it's also sorted single berry. We gravity feed it up into the fermenters, so it doesn't go through pumps. It's not beat up by hoses and pumps, so it's kind of gentle handled. I saw a question on oak treatment. It spends 19 months in French oak, 70% new. That's quite a big oak treatment, but in 2007 we thought the fruit was so intense that it could handle that type of oak treatment, and the results are in the bottle.
Wonderful. And when was this wine released?
This was released about 10 months ago. Yep, so we'll probably get into the 2008 in another 3 or 4 months.
Where does the marshmallow flavor come from?
I don't know, maybe your glass. maybe your dishwasher detergent.
Good answer. So there's the obvious stuff, steak, red meat,
Yeah.
stuff like that. What are you drinking at home with this wine?
Yeah, I mean, a prime New York steak off the grill, rare in the inside, seared on the outside is kind of your classic pairing. If you're a vegetarian, I would do something like a homemade pasta. I would do that with a very intense red sauce, even with a touch of red pepper to it, just to give it a little pop and a little lift. Obviously, this is a big wine, especially if you're drinking it young. It's going to go best with bigger type foods.
And we just wrapped up vintage this year. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys experienced at Merryvale?
Sure. Yeah, a tough vintage for Bordeaux varietals, certainly. We did get our estate vineyard, which is actually an early ripening vineyard. We got it ripe. We picked it about 15 bricks, slightly above that, which is really our target. Although some of the flavors of the seeds weren't quite what we thought they would be. But it was a great year for Pinot. We have a ton of vineyards down in Carneros, and we think it's actually one of the best years for Pinot Noir that we've ever seen from our estate vineyards.
Outstanding.
Yep.
And the bloggers seem stuck on the marshmallow creaminess.
Sure. Creaminess is going to come from malolactic fermentation, which all red wines go through. Any marshmallow notes that you're picking up are going to come from the oak treatment. It's 100% French oak. Again, 19 months, about 70%. This wine is so young right now that the oak notes will marry in with the fruit over time. Optimal drinking of this wine is probably in another 3 to 5 years, and then it's going to stay on a plateau maybe for another 10. So that's when I think you won't be picking that up, and it'll be more of a sort of integrated wine.
And can you expand a little bit on the other bottlings that Merryvale does?
Sure. We do a Sauvignon Blanc, a Chardonnay out of Carneros, Carneros is great for Chard and Pinot. It's cool climates. It's right where the Napa Valley meets up with the San Francisco Bay. So warm days, cool nights, lots of fog. As you get up valley, we do a Merlot, we do a Cabernet, we do a single vineyard Cabernet. And then our flagship wine is called Profile. It's a Bordeaux red blend. It's the best that we can make in any given year. And it's the wine that put us on the map 25 years ago.
Wonderful. Chris, appreciate it so much. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
There we have it.
Appreciate it.
Another leg of Taste Live CellarPass, broadcasting from the Calistoga Wine Pavilion at the Mount View Hotel at the Napa Valley Film Festival. There's still more to come. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Cheers.